What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part, I want to say 21 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tzarina Katarin Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Irogny's and Naviev's army was horribly outnumbered by Grimgor's stack in the full war. Naturally, Irogny found the whole situation hilarious, and he, his command squad, and his acolytes of Azorn obliterated Grimgor and co. Which is pretty good. This knocked Grimgor down in terms of strength rank, well, to 99 for a bit, and he's back up to 95, though I'd wager, and not for too much longer. Down to 7 territories he is, and Irogny is on his way to take 6 out of 7, while Karak Azorn will be taken by Victor Zambin over here. In terms of what we gotta do this particular turn, I think we're only about halfway through it, at least in the sense that we needed to move a few guys, so let's move them. You guys were the guys that I was thinking of, so Fell Cargo. We should go to the Monolith of Flesh, but I just can't say no to the Fell Cargo. Let me just think here for a second. We'll probably move to the Fell Cargo, but I'm just going to delay that a little bit. Mother Astanka, I guess we're going to send you down to the Altar of the Crimson Harvest. I would actually prefer to send you this way so that we can allow Kistalton to conquer these. But the thing is, I think it's more critical to conquer the coastal territories here as fast as we can. At least this way we can prevent the Empire from taking them, so that we don't have to then trade for them later, which would be a hassle. Yeah, I guess you're going to have to go all the way over here. Oh, actually, we won't suffer attrition, and because the corruption will drop to below corruption levels next turn anyway, so we'll be just fine. Alrighty, and I mean, I guess we could also level up the protective charms, but, well, it won't be needed for this turn, so I think we'll wait. Now, you need to get something here. What was it again? Wildkeeper? Attribute stock for things in the woods and incarnate elemental of beasts, which is pretty nice. So that's what we want, Wildkeeper. It also does give us the vigor loss reduction for things in the woods and incarnate elementals. Funnily enough, it includes all the monstrous and beastly animals, including bears and whatnot, but does not include snow leopards. One of the only things it doesn't include. On the bright side, though, with regards to stock, at least the snow leopards already have it, and therefore it shouldn't matter. But I do feel like that ability should count the snow leopards. Anyway, let's see who else we have. Anybody else need to move? Recruiter Gaspar, were you? Oh, you're one of these guys. Okay, fine, just move these guys now. Alright, you're going for this, go for it. Go for the Fell Cargo.
This land is ours.
This land is your land, this land is my land. Alright, what do we have here? Sail to the wreck, and close victory, and it'll kill off the Kossovite archers. Because of course it will. Alright, manual little fight.
By bullet, by spear, or by axe. No matter your weapon, use it well, for failure does not warrant second chances.
Alrighty, here we go. As you can probably guess and or see, I did decide to... Ooh, nice little volley from the enemy gunnery mobs there. I did decide to fight this one cinematically. Why not? Why not? The enemy is going to start taking hits from our range units and our hag witches alike. They're going to pop those flocks of doom on the biggest enemy blob they can find. Gonna get that Tall's judgment off while we harass the enemy with our horse archers. As we've learned, they're not going to do too much more damage with their new Falcon fletched arrows or Falcon fletchings or whatever the upgrade was called, and then they were doing before, which is a bit unfortunate, but well, they'll still do a little bit of damage, I'm sure, and they're here for fun and not because I think they'll be effective or anything like that. Variety's sake. Anyway, looks like we're getting decent work out of our hag witches so far, and the enemy is marching towards us. Gotta remember that they are aquatic as well, Vampire Coast I mean, but by and large I don't imagine most of their units will be able to reach our range line, and any units that get too close, we have those pack traps for them. to stop them in their tracks, and those will have to be used specifically on the enemy depth guard who are marching forward. Looks like a Tide Call is going to move through our lines and do a little bit of damage to our Kossars and Akshina ambushers. Here come the depth guard there, and Stagger Shot Bleed crippled on them. And they're down to about half HP. They are still a relatively fragile unit for all the fact that they're stronger at SFO. And finally, Pack Trap will move upon them. And you know what? The leadership reduction from the Pack Trap is probably pretty helpful as well in forcing the undead units specifically to melt away. Ooh, looks like the enemy did manage to get a volley from its pile of range units off. I believe they were focusing our Hag Witches, and I have been noticing that the enemy has a tendency to focus down Hag Witches in particular with its range. Kind of like it does support units and larger single entities. It seems to really like to do so. On the bright side, this is saving our units from taking additional casualties, and in this particular army at least, since the Družina gives Hag Witches regeneration, the Hag Witches should be able to heal themselves up just fine. The enemy lord has died, and the last of his or her zombies have returned to the watery graves from whence they came, and one last depth guard unit, which spent the entire battle being led around by the step distractions and step bros here, is attempting to make it into the fray before they melt away. But alas for them, I don't imagine that's going to be how they end their day. There we go, riddled with arrows, a few more. Always sad to see Depth Guard fall in this manner before they can get into the fight, but maybe that's just my vampire bias showing. A lovely little fight. Alright, easy little fight, but at least this way our horse archers did not get killed by the auto-resolve. And besides, at the end of the day, who knows how long it'll be until we do get a proper opponent of the Vampire Chaos Pardon Captives, I guess, because we've got pretty good HP from that, and certainly don't want to waste the money. And see what reward we get. It doesn't say, but, okay, it looks like we got 5,000 gold. Our money did jump up by, presumably, around 5,000. Weird. It usually says, like, plus 5,000 gold, plus 8,000 gold, right? I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Anyway, let's... I think you can actually land, and you'll be able to heat up and then move to the Monolith of Flesh anyway. Find out. By the looks of it, yes. Alright, you guys keep traveling with him, at least for now, partly to leech XP while we have 7 turns left to profit. There's still going to be, well, this guy's the Master of the Beasts. And now I'm not sure whether we'll actually put this to use anymore, as in this ability, especially since Mother Ostanka is, I'm kind of like, you guys floated the idea that, being a crazy cat lady kind of works with her, so now I'm kind of inclined to keep these snow leopards in her army with the things in the woods, and kind of hovered over you. Maybe it should be stepping wolves because they're like werewolves. There we go. Alright, doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but yeah, makes more sense in my opinion. Anyway, that is good, and are we ready to end the turn? We do have a little bit of money. You know what another weird thing is I noticed? The Hag Mothers, if we take a look at this, so Hag Mother Lords are 306 upkeep, alright? Whereas Hag Witches are 408 upkeep. Why would the Lord, the Hag Mother, with the unique lore of the Widow, be less expensive, especially considering they're the older, more powerful witch, than the regular Hag Witches? It's a bit odd. I mean, I suppose it's to keep them in line with the costs of the Lords, because the Lords are generally cheap. Or maybe it's just that the Hag Witches are really, really expensive. Oh, wait, do the Hag Mothers have their sled as well? Are they on a sled? Speed 70. Can't see a mount here, but I assume they're on a sled as well. I don't know if they can be off a sled. Armor 50, I just want to compare, just before we end the turn. Armor 50, these guys have armor 60, but that might be something in the army. Missile strength 330, missile strength 375. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. So to answer my own question, I'm not sure. Anyway, I believe we're good to go in terms of the end turn, or at the very least with regards to moves that we need to make. We do have a little bit of cash remaining, and could probably use it to build some stuff. Now, Troll Country is not where we should be building stuff, because we will be getting a new guy here in a turn or so. I'm really tempted to delete the walls here, but we're still kind of in a relatively dangerous position. I'm also wondering whether hallowed forests are worth building at all. Yes, they technically generate devotion, but plus 75 income from farms will give us what? 75% of 75 gold? It's not going to be a lot. That's what, like, I don't know, 55 gold? I can't do math. Between 50 and 70 or 60 gold. It's not a lot. If we build a hallowed forest instead, or a haunted forest rather, than a hallowed forest, it will give us 50 gold, but buffed up by the increased amount of money, so more money than the farm would give us by virtue of the hallowed forest, and would give us hagwitch capacity. Considering that hagwitches can also steal tech, and despite their insane expense, and also, why are they twice as expensive as the frost maidens? I don't know how expensive the frost maidens are when they're on the warbears. We'll see that later. But anyway, yeah, since we have such a limit on the frost maidens, might be a good idea to get more of the hag witches instead. Anyway, Igorov, I guess we could build something here, and by that something we'll go for farmstead, and then I guess we have that same question. Do we go for the hallowed wood? Do we bother with it? Or do we just build one of these? Maybe we do need their capacity. It's not a lot of money. The thing is, either thing will take so long to pay for itself that the amount of money that they make is completely negligible and is probably better not built. Or rather, you're probably just looking at capacity generate versus devotion generation either way. How expensive are they? Well, these things are a lot cheaper. If there is that to be said for it, I suppose. It was deleted later. I'm gonna hold off on that. I just think that we have better ways to spend our money right now, and the better ways are things like this. Kazidur you can go up to the next level, and yeah, we can reduce the costs here. Oh, I did start building a hallowed wield here. I can build one. That's fine. Once again, the reducer guy can't be everywhere at once, so we'll just build the city, and that basically takes all of our money anyway. Let's go build you at Plesk. Let's do it. Alright, there we go. That's all the cash we got. Unassigned skill points, building upgrade available, and I believe we're good to end the turn and see what we can see. Wulfric, will you attack us? At the Bay of Blades. He's raiding right now. We've got... I forgot what was in his army again. We can clearly see that Wulfric is on his war mammoth, so there is that to be concerned about, but we do have enough armor piercing on 6 Akshina ambushers to bring that down. Thorgrim, you want a non-aggression pact? Oh, look at that, he's starting to reclaim the Silver Road. Good for him. I mean, I guess. You condemn treaties with Reichland. Oh, that's interesting. Reichland doesn't hate you, but they don't like you either. Which probably means that Thorgrim hates Reichland, most likely due to their alliance with the Wood Elves. Huh, we may have to eventually make a choice between the Empire and the Dwarves here. Thorgrim's faction is quite weak. What if he dies? I mean, at the end of the day, if we get an alliance... Wait. Yeah, we could get a defensive alliance with him eventually, maybe get some of his units up and running. It's a possibility. I'll do the non-aggression pact, sure, why not? Why not? The fact is, Karak alone isn't enough, and the problem with Karak is that whatever turn it is, they haven't actually... Wulfric didn't attack. They didn't actually tech up to... Or Host of Jar finally destroyed. I wonder if that was Grimgor or whether that was somebody else. Oh, I think the last territory was in Cathay, so it probably wasn't Grimgor. He's a little busy with us. I forgot where I was going with this. Karak has not teched up. They're still at tier 3 in their capital and haven't teched higher than that anywhere else. That is, however, true of pretty much all factions at this point. Very few have gotten to tier 4. Altdorf is still at tier 3. Pretty much all of the empires at tier 3 everywhere. Well, the growth is generally slower in SFO as well, and there's a good reason why I keep getting Salyak for that growth and Mother's Hand for that additional growth. It's quite nice. Anyway, we need to hunt down Wulfric. So, Castelton, well, by the looks of it, you won't be able to reach him in one turn, but can you reach the Bay of Blades? Maybe. Yes. Yes, you can. Alright, so just go here. Now, in fact, move you out here. And then we'll pop Castelton into the Bay of Blades. Wulfric will run, so there's probably no point in attacking him. We just don't have the movement range on Castelton. I guess we can send you out here as well. You do have to trade some stuff. Go here. And we are going to pop the 2 little Groms into Sorka Gospodar's army. She's going to be transferring them shortly. Transferring all of this to the to this army, so we can send her up there, while this guy transfers Coldheart and the other Frostworm to Mother Estankia. Alright, you can continue to act as a scout. Wasn't there a full stack? There it is. Belonging to the Orcs here, yeah. And this guy's not looking to defend the Altar of the Crimson Harvest, but that's just fine. Tzarina Katarin, ooh. Been curious about this one. Let's head you to the Bleeding Spire right now. There's Prince Ograx running after us, being all weirdly Zinchi about it. Resolve and Occupy. This should give us our first Chaos Wastes full territory. I've been very curious. Another snowflake pendant. I've been very curious about the new commandment. Magic Wards of Climate Change. Devotion -5 per turn, but upkeep reduction by 10%. Any chaotic wasteland climate effects within this province are nullified. So at the cost of 5 devotion... So basically, it costs more devotion than you would normally generate in a chaotic province by 2, meaning it's probably not a good idea to use these everywhere, but for building things up it might not be bad. It would give us a construction time increase, casualties, we don't really care about that, and control. Those are the 2 main things. I think it would probably be a good idea to do these commandments sort of temporarily, just to allow us to quickly build up things. Yeah, so let's switch you first to the Magic Wards of Climate Change, and I appreciate the comments that pointed out that this thing existed, because you can't see this commandment until you reach a Chaos territory. And then we can upgrade these things at a higher rate, because we won't have the construction time plus 100%. So we'll make use of it. Alright, that looks good. In fact... Well, I mean, it would be the same. I was just wondering whether we should cancel this, and yeah, it would be the exact same. We wouldn't win anything on that. And, ooh, that province gave us another Ataman available. We'll go for the guy that gives us money. I wish he had control or growth, rather than corruption, but money is money. Where can you go? What's the next most money-making place that we have right now? Trollheim Mountains, maybe? Yeah, and Giant Hill Mountains looks like it's... making a little bit more. Alright, Giant Hill Mountains it is. Alright, we got another 5% guy. Alright, sweet. Let's hope that either one of them can upgrade to another 10%. Next up, Vladimir Mikheyev. You, I guess... Well, we have 2 options. Either we head to the Tower of Flies here, which we would just be able to reach, or we head to Volcano's Heart. I'll still suffer attrition. I think you're immune to attrition, though, so I think we'll be fine. Start moving towards the Tower of Flies, I think. Yeah, Abademius is here. Would you fight him? I think he'll run. Yeah, he'll run. Yeah, either way, it makes more sense to go to the Tower of Flies and then up to Volcano's Heart, simply because it's faster to go to Forest of Decay that way. And I don't know whether we'll be taking the Bilious Cliffs with Vladimir, because we could send Igor up here to grab that. Somebody will still need to deal with Malice, of course, but we'll also need to loop back around to these guys, because in 3 turns they will declare war on us, no doubt about it. Also, we are drawing very close to Boris Ursus, so let's hope that revival works out for us. Looks like we will not be able to do that this turn. But by the looks of it, next turn should be fine. So you can go out. Okay, let's pop you into a camp stance, I guess. And camp stance right here. Huh.
By my command.
I assume that you'll be able to raid. Alright, you can leave the territory as well, and then go into encamp, and get ready. Yeah, should be able to raid this next turn. We should, in theory, only have to spend 1 turn raiding, as it'll be minus 20 from the 2 raiding there, and then hopefully Boris will rebel and come back. Victor Zemvin. We have another Atman thing. Somebody wants something. Pioneer gives us experience gain for characters, all characters faction-wide, and research rate plus 10. Obvious choice is obvious. Lovely. We're up at 200% research rate. Very, very slow research compared to any other faction. At least any other SFO faction that I am aware of. Anyway, Victor Zamin, head to Karak Azorn. What do we have in terms of defenses? They do have defenses. Meaning we'll have to fight it. And it'll be another broken battle, or it'll be another... yeah, they have the walls there, so it won't work. Meaning we'll have to fight this one manually. Alright, well, since we fought the Vampire Coast cinematically where we normally would have fought it manually, I guess we'll fight this one manually. Well, by virtue of the fact that we have to. Be a very similar fight to the, well, very similar fight that we did for another place. Also with Victor Zamin, but... after this one, it'll most likely be that he's fighting ogres rather than orcs, so a little bit of a change up for him. And the little groms and the cannons should be quite adept at knocking holes in ogre lines and ogre bellies. Anyway, let's move you guys all the way back here. Start deployment. Cannons, of course, it'll be on your shoulders, this victory, by and large. Alright, you're good. And everybody else can either sit back... well, yeah, we'll just sit back and wait, because it's just easier to just destroy the towers than circumvent them. Alright, you guys go here. You guys go here. Honestly, the setup doesn't really matter. Actually, you know what does matter? Not interfering with the firing lines of the artillery pieces, so let's do that instead. Because these guys might have to move forward, and they don't like shooting through your own units. Which is nice. It's a nice thing. It's a good thing. Anyway, all of you, get ready. Start battle. Fire on this tower first. Get 1 volley in there, and let's just speed it up a little bit. 1 volley in there, and then as soon as everybody's fired on it, everybody but 1 unit switch to the next tower, because... okay, maybe 2 units. Alright, and all of you switch to the other tower. And then all of you get ready to switch. Oh, okay, you've all already switched. Fine, fine, fine. Yeah, obviously we're going to do the bombardment on max speed, because otherwise it's going to take forever, and then we'll do the same thing there. You guys have moved a little bit closer. Ooh, I also didn't check whether they have an artillery piece this time around. Last time we fought with this particular army, I believe, yeah, they had an artillery piece. Here they don't, so we're a lot safer. And once... oh, in fact, speed it back down, and we can start moving everybody in without an artillery piece to be concerned with. The enemy has little that they can do. What we do, however, need to do is make sure that you guys knock down this arrow tower before we breach the walls any further. Fortunately, the cannons and the little groms are quite good at that sort of thing. The tower goes down, we'll start breaching those walls. Wall breached, and okay, you guys can back off, my bad. Alright. And maybe... I should fire back on those orc arrow boys.
Warrior and leader.
Alright, you guys, you're gonna be first in. And then we'll follow you up with the Watchman and the Knight. Yeah, how's that wall looking? Looking pretty good. Ooh, is that the enemy lord? Indeed it is. I'm gonna say we go now, because just to get after the enemy lord. There's nobody to block the enemy in here, but would they actually move away from a... can't quite reach him. But anyway, let's activate towards battle him. Our range units are moving in. Our cannons, to some degree, are still firing. Or at least they were trying to. You, and you. I will move you up. I like to put them in different positions so that they can potentially actually get the ability to fire on the enemies somewhere. But generally speaking, they need to be told to do so. That said, we'll put them in guard mode. You guys firing anything? Doesn't look like it. Alright, you go in, go for those orc biggins. You start on streaming in here. And let's move around our archers. Oh, you guys are getting a decent angle. There we go. Alright, getting some shots in there. Summon the guardian. Oh, right, the guardian call doesn't work here. I learned that last time we fought this, but it's been too long. Alright, let's do one of these. Yeah, a little bit of a bounce off of that. And, ooh, you're starting to take damage. Let's activate these sort of anti-heroes. And yeah, the enemy lord is hurting you. We're gonna need the second Tor's Battle Hymn by the looks of it. But that's alright.
Defender of Kislev.
And we can heal you up, which is why I'm not particularly concerned. Alright, you units are in. Let's get the... No, go here. Oh, for the love of... Why are you like this game? Alright, you guys are at least in, and are we ready for that Heart of Winter? I feel like we could get a few more units in. You ready to go now? No, you're still trying to... Yeah, okay, fine. I don't want them there because these armored cossers and these range units are actually firing through, but the game really hates the pathing for these. Okay, can you please, like that. Maybe they'll do it when they're moved like that in that particular manner. Yeah, Heart of Winter. Alright, now would you go? Now that's the shortest way to run. Alright, I just want to get them into the fight so that we can, we can tell them all to fight. Let's activate some abilities, let's activate a Tor's Battle Hymn, and then we'll watch a little bit of fighting. Rather than controlling. Or I could speed it up, but, you know. Gotta watch those twin blades and do a little bit of work. Plus, they're fighting with the Heart of Winter active overhead, which I'm sure is doing plenty of damage to the Biggins and the regular orcs. Just gotta keep an eye out on our heroes and maybe drop another Saliak's Lullaby. I'll recover that HP. Alright, we're down to 4 Saliak Lullaby uses left, so until we have those gone completely, we can keep fighting without caring too much about what happens to our heroes at any rate. Alright, and how are we doing? Oh, the enemy lord is still alive, good for him. And oh wow, that unit's getting hurt. Alright, it looks like we're gonna need to back you up. Send more units in, and you can go here, and you can go here, whatever. Why are you moving this way and these guys are moving that way? Alright, I would like you to go up on this wall and stay relatively safe up there. Can we summon this outside the settlement? No, can't summon it anywhere. I wonder what it is about this specific settlement that doesn't let you do that. Kind of curious. Anyway, activate another Frost Maiden's Kiss. We're looking good. The enemy lord is nearly out. You guys up on the walls. Good. And you should be getting reinforcements any second. These guys have stopped, but they're firing through the gap, which is fine. Now let's send more of the Watchmen in the Night in. You guys can get ready to fight like... No, back off. I would like you to either charge them or fire at them. And you can do the same. And, ooh, that... okay, artillery. Let's not. All of you target those orc arrow boys. Enemy lord is pretty much out, and we can move on in. And we got another Heart of Winter available shortly, though it probably would be a little bit of overkill here. I would like to have our Saliak's Lullaby, everybody. And I would also like you guys to use your mass to push on through. In fact, we can activate the Urson's Roar to increase your mass. Alright, like so, and the reason I wanted that was to activate the Tor's Battle Hymn. Alright, these guys are fighting. And you guys are not firing into them? Alright, fine, then go like this. At least your first line should be, I hope, firing. Find out in a second. I suppose one good reason to keep the regular Kossars rather than swap them out for Streltsy in this particular army is they are able to fire overhead. So they are helping out a little bit. Hopefully these guys will actually, there we go, start using their pistols. Beautiful. Alright, well, those orc boys are going to have a pretty tough time of it. You guys are damaged, but still firing down upon the enemy. Artillery. Some of you are firing, some of you are not. Try that orc arrow boy unit. Can you fire on that? No. What about this thing? Looks like one of you could. Alright. And since you can fire on the barricade, we can wait until you've knocked it down and then just charge on through. This orc unit is destroyed effectively. And you guys move out over here. Alright, who's badly hurt? You're kind of a little bit hurt, so let's preserve your HP. I'm just worried that the... okay, you can go up here, maybe. I'm worried that we will have to be fighting the ogres shortly, and if we do, they will probably attack this army. Also, Little Groms, I think it's time to move on in. We'll use you as single entities. We need one more shot from any of the artillery pieces on this thing. And that'll be good. We can also take the time to move in our Cussers. Taking a little bit of damage, but the Orc Air Boys, let's face it, aren't super threatening. No, you're going too far. Alright, everybody's moving. I probably should have captured this gate. And there we go, that should knock out the barricade. Perfect. And healthy unit of Watchmen in the Night can stream on, and you guys can provide range fire support, at least for now, while you have ammunition. You are attempting to make your way through the gate. Fine, I guess. And then you can go around and, I guess, attack those Orc Air Boys. You know what? Little Groms, go this way. Go kill those Orc Air Boys in melee. Alright, you guys keep on moving forward. Uphill, let's watch the combat a little bit and just hope and pray that our little Groms don't get damaged too heavily by the enemy there. Yeah, these little sieges do tend to be a little bit slow, but no, at least we have to work for our victory, so that's always a decent thing. You can slow enemies down, not so much to actually, because we actually care about slowing them, but because it gives the additional armor to everybody due to the passive. You guys can move on in melee. The Orc Air Boys are distracted. Getting some nice support provided by our arrow Cossars. You can move out here then, you can keep firing, and you all, I think, can join the melee fray as well. Fighting lots of trolls now, I think that warrants another Tors battle hymn. Not trolls battle hymn. Oh, nice splash damage hit from this particular troll, though I'd wager he'll be rushing out of there shortly. I'm very tired and shaken. Dampen is there, but I don't think we're going to waste another Heart of Winter on these guys. Alright, and you should be out. How are these guys looking? Still giving chase to those arrow boys, but at least the little Groms are keeping them pinned in place. Are you cannons able to fire on the Orc arrow boys? Frankly, there isn't too much for the cannons to do in this particular battle, but, well, we knew that going in. Tends to be the case. Alright, hurt units, stay back there. You are not so hurt, however, and can keep moving. We can keep advancing with the archers as well, because we can refill their ammunition with the Druzhina. Everybody charge on forth. Looks like, oh, no, never mind. Have to control you all to attack the boar boys. And I guess we can activate another Tors battle hymn right there on all of them. And we've been joined by the little Groms as well. Lovely. You want to activate the stand your ground? Why not? Presence of the little Groms is probably going to be a good thing, because then the little bit of damage that they've taken so far can be healed up with that Saliak's Lullaby. And Druzhina's still working on that horse, though of course, he's going to take a little bit more damage than the others. Let's get Saliak's up and running right now. And the balance of power's at about 90%. I think once we win this crowd, we can probably just speed through the rest of the battle. By win this crowd, I mean destroy the mob that we're currently fighting here. Enemy is still keeping us a little bit from getting uphill. We get any... a little bit wary of using the cannons at this point. I imagine they won't be able to fire... Oh, try firing this. I don't think it'll work, but give it a try. Alright, these guys are rushing out of there now. Do we have a barricade here? We do not. Just charge forth, and I think since that's probably the last major bit of enemies that we have to deal with, we could just speed it up and try to knock them down. Alright, everybody go for these boar boys and we'll heal everybody up as needed. We can move in you guys. I imagine that these orc boys will come back in a second. Alright, the enemy does have relatively light... The pathing is being screwy here, but it'll do that. That's normal. Ooh, cannon. Still firing at you. Go figure. Another unit of boar boys and orc boys out here. You guys all go for that. And, there's still actually a decent amount of them up here. But, frankly, it's not like the enemy has any kind of chance here, so I don't mind speeding through the rest of this battle. I think we can find a better battle later this episode, so... At least I would imagine, so... These guys went behind the barricade. Alright, that's fine. Good for them. And good for them. Switch to the Biggins here. We just have to wait until the enemy does their thing. We are out of mana. We can cast a few more of the Frost Maiden's Kisses. Use the Tor's ability just to reduce the enemy damage a teensy bit. More Orc Biggins. Anybody not doing anything who has HP? You are, but you also have no ammunition. Yeah, we should really have you cannons destroy this unit of archers, though. because it is actually doing damage to us. Up here towards the boar boys, please. And damage units, I think you can help out up here as well. Alright, Biggins are charging on through. These guys last lack ammunition, so we're gonna have them help out the Cold Steel Company. Watch a little bit more of the action, I think. Okay, oh, the pathing. The terrible, terrible pathing. Without enemy towers to punish us for it, though, we don't really have to care about the pathing being screwy or about the blobbing up that we're doing now that we probably wouldn't normally be doing, or at least wouldn't want to normally do. Let's activate another spell here, like so. There we go. And how's the Cold Steel Company looking? I'm gonna die, are they? They're okay. 89 HP. It'll take a while for them to knock down those orcs, but with these guys done for, I imagine they'll shatter. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Don't have to do anything else. How did we do in terms of HP? Well, a little bit of damage on these armored Cossars, but they were the ones that we sent in first, and that's hardly surprising. Good. I do think that that should have been auto-resolvable, but, well. Damage is pretty okay on the artillery. The cannons did more damage at the end, but that's probably because the little Groms were forced into melee about halfway through the fight, and we're also moving around, chasing after error boys and stuff. While the cannons were able to continue to provide support fire, which was fine by me. There was obviously no guarantee that the cannons would actually be able to fire a shot, depending on how well the enemy was positioned. Alright, good to go. Ooh, another Helm of Discord. Nice. We will take Karak Azorn for ourselves there. I take it we're not able to build the Dwarfen landmark, but oh well. Valet, 10%. Good. And Victor Zaman, you got a Helm of Discord. I mean, you can hold on to this for now. I might not keep this on you. But considering we have 2 Shields of Sacrifices on these guys, it's not the worst thing. And funnily enough, pretty much throughout this entire campaign so far, we have not really gotten much in the way of armor. At the very least, decent armor. So we could certainly use more. Most of our lords are actually using common armor rather than green or blue. Alright, and I guess you can now go into Deadly Blade. You probably... You know what, let's get Urson's Protect... No, let's get Deadly Blade, because Cursed Frontier will give us the reload, missile damage, etc, etc stuff. I'm kind of tempted to try to get a War Drum in here, though. We could do 2 Streltsy and a War Drum. The first War Drum will go to Kastalton, of course, because he has a pile of Streltsy, so that makes sense. More, and we have a limited amount of allegiance with Cathay right now. Anyway, Igor Telichev, are you able to reach the Monolith of Flesh from here? You sadly are not. Oh, well, yeah, because you landed. Well, hardly surprising. What we can do is ignore the... You know what, wait. We're going to move, and we're going to channel. I guess you guys can... also channel? Oh wait, you can raid maybe. You two can raid. Oh, speaking of raiding, was it this turn or next turn? A moment. Ah, it's next turn. Damn, alright, fine. I'm just excited at the prospect of getting Boris on the field. Let's try to get through this turn faster so we can do that. You two. How close are you to attacking this? Well, you can move further. I don't know how far the next settlement is, though. Also, oh, let me guess, the game will force us to fight this? Guess we're about to find out. Uragni into the granite spikes, please. And Pyrrhic Victory. Well, they won't all die, but I bet the casualties will be pretty severe. Well, the question is, can we risk not encountering another greenskin army? I'll think about it. Let's move everybody else around and complete the turn. We might have to do this battle as well. Mother's Tank, yeah, we gotta pick a battle, though. Like, pick a battle that we do need to fight and pick a battle that we don't. You can move into Motherland Stance and head for the Altar of the Crimson Harvest. They have some stuff there, but really not a lot, so I'm hoping... Pyrrhic Victory for the... And it'll kill off Dave. Why do you hate Dave, game? What did Dave do to you? Alright, yeah, looks like another little manual fight. A bit of an unfortunate aspect to this campaign that the auto-resolve seems to hate Kislev so much, as it's causing us to be forced to fight a lot of these little mini-fights. I'm sure some of them are enjoyable, but some of them, like this one, are just going to be hilariously easy. On the other hand, I mean, I guess they do have trolls and some Some Marauder champions, which might be able to hold the line for a bit. Could be potential there. And we do have stock on almost, well, almost the entire army now. You three, alright, let's do this. Start deployment, you three are just gonna go here because I don't feel like moving you. We'll keep 4 of the snow leopards here. And this is gonna be our main force, so we'll do something like this. Then we'll take the rest of you. And we'll move you out here. No magic support, but we'll be fine. We'll deal. All right, you guys can be group 3, you guys can be group 1, and then you guys can be group 2. Good enough. All right, start battle. Let's start moving forward, and we got some trolls to fight. You guys move forward. Snow leopards, I'd like you to kill the trolls as fast as you please. And you guys can actually just move forward. All right, how are the enemy defending here? They're not really, so let's move you all in. And speed it up a little bit. All right. Now, what we do need to do is figure out what we want to cast. Well, you can use your power stones. Probably not going to bother with that as yet. And everybody else move on in. We'll heal everybody as needed as well. Now, move into melee to apply your debuffs to the enemy. Plus, it'll hopefully mean more enemies are moving. Plus, let's see if we can... there we go, not bad. Alright, you're taking a little bit of damage. Let's back you off, though we'll heal you up shortly. Alright, we got the things in the woods moving in, and then you guys go after that Marauder Chieftain, if you can. Alright. Trolls will die fairly quickly, I imagine. Let's also buff everybody up with the Visen's Wild Form to get ourselves nice and armored. We'll also use Flock of Doom on the enemy, and overcast a second Flock of Doom because they should stack with each other. Yep, they do stack with each other. Perfect. You can use the Witch Brew once we send you back in to heal everybody, including yourself, back up. Or we could, do the damaging Witch Brew rather than... let's do the damaging Witch Brew. Don't use it as much after all. Like... oh. Plus it looks cool. There we go, and nice bounce through the enemy line. Alright, looking pretty good. I am not really paying attention to what the other portion of our army is doing, but hopefully they're not doing too bad. Let's just make sure. And, ooh, yeah, see, you're taking damage. This is probably why the auto-resolve is attempting to kill Dave. Was this Dave? No, it's Snowball, okay. Would have been hilarious if it was Dave here, too. Sniffles, no. Yeah, the enemy lord is routing, though, and the location has been captured. Let's move on to the Marauder Hunters with javelins. We can maybe summon some more things in the woods. Can't have too many things in the woods on the field. Funnily enough, Mother of Stankia does not have the ability to summon things, but the other witches do. Oh well. Alright, let's use Goulias to activate and heal everybody. We can move the things in the woods down here to help out with the rest of the enemies, and then we can use these snow leopards to chase down the Marauder Chieftain until he shatters at the least. A little bit more work to do, but we're nearly there. Let's get another upgraded Flock of Doom on the enemy. Everybody keep on fighting, as one does. Alright, I imagine the enemy lord has shattered at this point. Yep, and everybody come on down. We'll probably take a few seconds to heal post-battle, just to make sure that Snowball is healed. I'm not sure whether the mod will allow it, but let's try to find out. Alright, you can move in here too. We will heal post-battle, of course, but I am kind of curious whether this will work. And it does. It did heal. Very little, though. Yeah, the Witch Brew doesn't seem to heal all that much. And therefore, we're not going to wait for anymore. Alright, that's fine. Once again, definitely should have been auto-resolvable, but we'll find a proper big fight. And that was me. Basically, the only damage we took was damage we took because I was trying to get some shots of the units fighting rather than pay attention to the guys that were hunting the enemy chieftain. Well, the Snow Leopards did assassinate said chieftain very nicely, and that despite the Marauder Hunters with javelins defending him, considering they're anti-large occupied. Nice. And hey, we got another Priest of Tal. It's been a while. It's been a very long time since we got another one, and a Smuggler. Not too bad. We'll take the Priest of Tal, of course. can't believe we only got 2. Won a battle against the Chaos Army. I feel like we've won a fair few of those. Oh, but surprised that that we only got that now. Alright, who's up next? Urogny. Right, we will probably have to manually fight yours as well. Recruiter, Blood in the crit failure. Ooh, 1 more success and you'll be level 20. And it was a failure, but she leveled up to 20 with a failure. You know what, that seems appropriate, doesn't it? Let's get you Scholar. There we go. So this should bump itself up to 12. This only gives us plus 12? We were at 200. I guess we have to steel tech successfully again for... It should be plus 24 because we should have gotten this and this. Considering we already had steel tech, so yeah, hopefully she'll succeed next time around, but that is not something you should hope for when it's Beledna the crit failure. And that you're talking about now, Recruiter Guyovich and the... I mean, technically you're both supposed to... You know what? You're gonna take a lot of the movement, aren't you? Yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. We're transferring both of these guys to Castalton. I was just wondering how much of our movement we'd lose by transferring that lord, or transferring that hero to that lord, but not a big deal. Oh, I know what battle we'll get. We'll get the guaranteed battle against Wulfric as soon as these guys can move. Either he runs or we chase him down. It shouldn't matter. We should be able to do that. Who are you again? Oh, right. I was going to use you to steal some tech, so steal some tech you shall.
Yes.
Heroes can't pick up plagues, can they? I don't think so. No, they can't. They can't. I was just concerned. Alright, you've started to fail. You better not fail 3 times. Can Beledna the critical failure change locations? Perhaps. Can she be in multiple places at once? Like failure itself, Beledna can appear anywhere at any time. Farm estate, and town, and trade quorum, and I guess here we will build the Eerie Woods. We'll want to reduce the cost of the Silent Grove there, but I think we don't need to do... Well, if we stay here for another turn, we can upgrade these things and build another one at Fort Stroghoff. And there is something to be said about that, unless there's another place where we need to reduce stuff much, much more. Prague was going to either build the Bleakness, which gives us Griffin Legion capacity, leadership on fighting against Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, and Norska, own armies faction-wide, and casualties suffered from attrition. That ain't bad. The other option would be hero capacity for Patriarchs. Yeah, I think this is better. Bleakness. Sounds appropriate. Also, you can switch back to Awaken the Land. I forgot that you were in relief columns, since we're not recruiting anything here right now. Let's build another stud farm here. Any more money? Lair of the Troll King? Yeah, we can upgrade stuff here without the reducer guy. Alright, anywhere else we can make additional cash? Yes, here and... Okay, wait, this stud farm's fairly expensive. Ooh, definitely stuff here. Okay, you know what? I think... Probably cheaper to reduce stuff by coming here next turn. It's a fair amount of stuff that we've built up. Yeah, so we're going to actually switch locations. Where is this little Gormadny Mountains, right? No, this is Karak Doom. Yeah, that was Karak Doom. Alrighty, so then you, Reducer Man, go to Karak Doom. Skull Road. By the looks of it, it's going to be a fairly big money-making province, and that was all of our money. Speaking of money-making. Golden Order. Hello. Oh, wow, they really want to trade. All right, well, won't say no to that. I guess we could do a non-aggression pact and military access. They'll probably want the defensive alliance anyway, and they're willing to give us 9.4k. Something's bad. Something bad is happening to them. Their strength rank is 91. This will bankrupt them. Hopefully they survive. But nonetheless, I feel like it's worth our time. We need the money to build up our empire, and yeah, they're still willing to do the defensive alliance. And they still have a little bit of cash. We'll take it. Let's see what's going on over there. They're actually willing to do straight military alliance if we want it. And frankly, we're already at war with everybody who they're fighting right now. Except the Caravan of Blue Roses. You know what, we'll wait a turn or two and they'll probably ask for that military alliance anyway. Western provinces want something. Ooh, they're in bad shape by the looks of it, though. They want a defensive alliance? Sure.
So long.
Let's see how they're doing. Are they also fighting Blue Roses? No, they are fighting the Puppets of Misrule, however. And we will be fighting them ourselves relatively shortly, I imagine. Don't need to peace out with anybody, or at the very least nobody that we care to right now. Carcassonne. I guess we could do the military access here. They are friendly with Reichland and Tulzen. Dwarfs must not like you very much. Moving to minus 114. Damn, treaties with Reichland and Tulzen are very much condemned. And if they hate these guys, they might hate us by virtue of us allying with them. That said, they are strength rank 15, which ain't too bad. We'll see. Once again, we may have to choose between dwarfs and manlings. You. Let's attack this. I think to be safe, we're going to fight this. You know what? It's probably going to be a small one, but we'll do a cinematic for this one as well. I just love watching the Acolytes fight. Plus, this army's getting more Bear Riders soon, so it's not going to look the same shortly.
Supply of grain to whoever fells their general. Your armor.
I have a feeling I know who will be felling their general. Anyway, here we go. Probably going to be a relatively smaller fight, but you know what? I like full armies fighting, and I like smaller armies clashing as well. It's pretty fun too, and especially when it's Eurogny's army fighting and the Acolytes of Ursun. Anyway, 14 enemy units, 14 of our units will clash here, and we'll see who comes out to the victor. Fortunately, since we aren't outnumbered 3-1, like when we fought last episode against Grimgor, we can be a little bit less careful in the way that we take this battle. Plus, there's no annoying enemy mage to cast those engazes of Mork upon us. We're going to start the battle off by waiting for Beledna the Defender to arrive, then we're going to move the Kossars with spears closer together so that we can activate Gust of True Flight and force them to get much longer range than they originally started with. There we go, Gust of True Flight upgraded, giving them range plus 40% and allowing them to start riddling the enemy front line with arrows. Of course, the enemy does have shields, and perhaps it would have been better to focus the enemy range units first, but who knows. And get that, I was about to say Judgment of Tal, but that wasn't a Tal's Judgment. We don't have a Druzhina here. That was one of the attacks from the Hag Witches. There we go. And alright, it does look like they penetrate quite deeply into enemy lines, at least when they hit. And the Hag Witches do seem to have, okay, yeah, this is what I mean about when they hit. They do have a tendency to hit the ground with that and aren't super accurate, but when the enemy blobs up, they do seem to do okay. Anyway, our Kossars are continuing to do damage, and we're going to help them out a little bit by moving Beledna the Defender forward and maybe getting a spell moving through the enemy lines. We could wait until the enemy blobs up, but I'd rather force the enemy to move towards us, and so we're going to activate a Biting Wind and see just how many enemy units the enemy is willing to take with this spell before it decides, nope, we should really start moving. Plus, Biting Wind has always been a pretty cool looking spell, but I guess that all of the newer lures have nicer effects than most of the older lures. Alright. And it looks like as soon as the wind activated, the enemy decided, nope, okay, that's enough, and we will indeed start moving forward. That'll mean, no, I'll actually clip a few of its range units before petering out, but that's fine by me. Alright, and here we go. This is why we wanted to draw the enemy forward. We have this impassable terrain to use, and to thus help protect our Kossars, and hopefully allow our units of Acolytes of Ursun to fight without having to worry about protecting them too much. Eurogny will lead his Patriarchs into combat, trying to head towards the enemy lord, and of course Gotrek and Felix, ever on foot, will bring up the rear to join the fray as well. Acolytes of Ursun will charge the enemy, and we also have summons available to us. The Hag Witch will get those things in the woods summoned, and of course Beledna has access to her Snow Leopard as well, which together are pretty solid. Always nice having summons available to you. Certainly a decent reason to perhaps use the Hag Witches in combination with a Frost Witch Lure. And just to increase the power of any army with summons. Anyway, it looks like the armies are all pretty much engaged now, and it's just a matter of ripping those orcs apart. We know that while the Biggins will certainly give a decent fight to the Acolytes of Ursun, and while it does say that the unit is losing, I don't imagine that's going to last, because the longer these guys are in melee, the stronger they will be. And we've seen them rip apart Orc Biggins plenty of times before. Over on the right flank, it looks like the enemy Trolls and Boar Boys are having a pretty difficult time against the summons in combination of one of the Acolytes. The Trolls are routing, and we'll be chasing after those Boar Boys shortly. But for now, we're going to join in on attacking the enemy Orc Biggins here, and reposition a little bit so that the Kossars can fire into the enemy's backs here. There we go. And just turn so that we don't riddle our own with arrows, and this should be a pretty darn effective position. Don't imagine the Biggins enjoy getting shot in the back, and while they have decent armor at 75, they're at least not as super heavily armored. And there we go, 2 units of the Acolytes of Ursun fighting now, while the Boar Boys are being held back by the summons, the Things in the Woods, and the Snow Leopard, and by the looks of it, are actually getting quite badly mauled, quite literally, by both of these units. And looks like the bounce power is at about 90% in our favor, and is going to 100 fairly soon. By the looks of it, the enemy Lord has fallen. And that was just a matter of winning on the flanks, since the enemy center has collapsed, though that one was hardly surprising. Alright, and it looks like as Urogny has headed to the right flank has collapsed as well, and the damage from the unarmored Kossars has told. The Biggins are out, and now it's just a matter of clearing out the left flank and finishing the enemy army off. It does look like an enemy Boar Boy unit has decided to come back, and I see more Orcs charging back into the fray, or attempting to return to the fray over here, but nope, they'll shatter instead, so will the last unit fighting, and with that, this little battle is ours as well. Yeah, in most campaigns, a little smaller battles like this are ones that we would auto-resolve through, but, well, on the other hand, this particular fight was actually fairly fun, so I'm not mad about this particular one. And, in fact, this was by choice, because the auto-resolve was letting us fight this, and without killing our troops, I just felt like it would be a fun fight, and I don't think I was wrong on that. Alright, actually it turned out to be a nice little fight. For some reason I thought that they had a defensive structure and that would be a minor settlement battle, but no, it was a field battle, which made it all the nicer. And because Urogny's stack isn't a full stack, it had the exact same number of units that the enemy stack did, so it was even ground, at least in that regard. But could anything be even against Urogny? Anything at all? We got decent kills on Beledna the Defender here, but it looks like in terms of kills and damage, the 2 named Acolytes of Ursun, the Bearkin and the Baronings, did take the win there. They do have the Razor Standard and the Lichbone Pennant granted, which is powering them up. Anyway, we're gonna occupy the place. And another Mirror of the Ice Queen. Ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. And another Tormentor's Sword. Damn, we're fighting some good stuff today. Yeah. And we do also have another Daj's Brazier with that area heal that it offers. We're going to give that to our Daj army, our Ice and Fire army, I guess. Mirror of the Ice Queen is going to Beledna the Defender, who is absolutely going to have a bunch of elite items, and funnily enough, by the time she gets her own army, she'll definitely have access to her Frostworm as well, which is great. Good job, Beledna. You can keep channeling, take a little bit of damage. I don't think we have much of a choice. I mean, we're going to keep taking damage while in the Chaos Waste. Sadly, this means that Urogny's army is going to be a while before it powers up. And we've got the defensive structure here as well. In the Volery, that one we're probably going to have to work our way through. And ooh, I notice Village has taken one of the Great Bastion Gates, which ain't so good. And the northern provinces were looking reasonably safe for a bit there. Okay, well, fortunately we are approaching village as well. Anything else we need to do this turn? We do have money again. I should probably fight everything before doing any building because, well, at least that way. Don't collect the income. Do we want to upgrade the crystal spires? Yeah, sure. I forgot what I was saying or where I was going, but I guess it doesn't really matter. You have purged the steps. Are we moving back up here to the Monolith of Bjorkil? I mean, I guess we still have to get to Pack Ice Bay, which we could do via the sea. And then what, go all this way to Troll Fjord, or... Nah, probably set sail to sea again and then go this way. Either way, I think we're going to pop you into Awaken All Land. Let's upgrade Doomkeep and hope that these things don't get retaken, and start off with, I guess, a market square, though, frankly, we'll probably start collecting income here pretty soon. Karak Azorn. I mean, we'll build the roadhouse for now, frankly. You know what? No, build the breastworks. We can't keep this army here. At least, I don't think we should keep it here. So we'll just build a defensive structure and we'll wait. Because I think we should start moving you towards Yeti Peak, as most likely we'll declare war on the Maggot Host, or they'll declare war on us before that same thing happens against Goldtooth. Altar of the Crimson Harvest that we just took, don't bother with the building. And do we bother collecting the income here? I mean, at the end of the day, all the Norscan territories are green territories, so we could do so. Altar of Spawns, we no longer need the church here. But we do need the market, and we do need to upgrade the Stanitsa. Stone Sky Foothills, Granite Spikes, yeah, sure, let's go for... I mean, this is Chaos territory, even though it has one non-Chaos location. We'll probably still need that Orthodoxy Shrine, so let's do that. Help it. Trade Quorum, yeah, fine, upgrade it. It's expensive, but at the same time, it's all stuff that needs to be done eventually. Now, you will be upgraded next turn, so we can ignore you. Gash Kadrak, what? Ooh, yes. Gem Cutter's Workshop, up to the next tier. Not that there's much of a difference, but income from markets faction-wide, even plus 1%, can still be quite a bit. I also noticed that the Eagle areas are lacking a... they are lacking a market, and technically so is Blackfang. We need to upgrade these ASAP, which we will do as soon as we have money, which we no longer do. Just one more upgrade, I guess? Get the Hallowed... No, built the wrong thing. Get the Farmstead here. And I guess we can upgrade the Taverns as well, just get more growth. Over the next few turns, we should see a fairly significant rise in our predicted income, as long as we're not spending massive amounts of money on recruiting. We still have to recruit the Elemental Bears and the War Bear Riders and the Zargard and Griffin Legion. But it'll be a bit. End turn. Well, let's see if anybody's close enough to attack us. Mr. Epidemius did run. He'll probably move back towards the Tower of Flies or whatever other location is nearest to him. But I'm excited to see whether Wulfric will run away or not, because I'd love to get a battle against him. Don't join war against Sylvania. I see the deadlock is still on, the eternal deadlock there. But if anybody's going to be in an eternal deadlock, it's probably the stubborn dwarfs and the undying, or the undead. Faction destroyed Illyrian, yeah. Ulthuan has fallen. Lothern itself has fallen. The Slaaneshi, whether it be the Seducers of Slaanesh under Nakari or Marathi's faction, look like they've conquered pretty much the entire place. And Nagaroth, by the looks of it, has been destroyed by Sigvald. Slaanesh is in ascendance, which is kind of interesting. And Morathi usually doesn't get wiped out. She's usually one of the more strong factions or stronger factions on the map in most campaigns I've seen. But I don't think I've ever seen Slaanesh be this powerful in general, so good for them. And now, where are you going? Could you be going to Norden? Who are you at war with? Sword of Cain claimed, who are you at war with? You're only at war with Lorelorn, and instead of going away from Lorelorn, you're in march stance, suspiciously close to our territory, eh? I'm gonna have to give some thought to that, but for now, we have fights to do. I don't really need all of these guys here, but, well, I guess we'll send Gestalten in first. This guy's gonna run either way. To Motherland stance. It just bothers me to have the stance and never use it, even though it doesn't really do too much for us. I guess we'll move the Ikshina ambushers and the little Groms in, but I think we could do without the ice worms in the sense that they'll make the battle perhaps a little bit too easy. I'd like to keep it a little bit more even as we've been waiting for a good fight this episode, and this will hopefully be that good fight. Pyrrhic victory as well. Very, very nice. Get to it.
Heretics, infidels, and blasphemers arraign themselves against us. The purge begins!
Alright, heretics, infidels, and blasphemers. Well, 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 quite the coterie Wulfric has brought with him. Anyway, here we go, and immediately seeing this map, we are not in a good position here. The choke point would have been great for us if we were able to deploy here, but the enemy is forced close to the choke point in their deployment, and we are forced far away. The enemy has a ton of tree cover and a lot of hills, and this is not going to be so good, probably, for our Streltsy. We'll have to see just how well they fight in melee with the buffs that they have here. Fortunately, the Frenzy is going to make the Streltsy considerably stronger in melee than they normally would be, giving them immunity to psychology and 10 melee attack, and at 51 melee attack with great weapons, hopefully. Well, let's just say hopefully not too bad. Plus we can power them up with the proximity of the war sleds as they get closer. In the meantime, however, the enemy army will approach. Mammoths and Marauders. It's a decent bad name. Mammoths and Marauders alike moving close under fire from the little Groms, though the latter are focusing down the enemy horses as best they can for now. Simply because that's their best use, their projectile type. Is better used, I would say, against cavalry than things like trolls, monstrous infantry, or obviously regular infantry. But anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of damage with the sleds as we back up, just to allow the little Groms and the sleds to harass the enemy a little bit. Would have been better if the sleds had more maneuvering ability on this map, but once again, in the same way that the hills and the forests are going to interfere with all of our Streltsy, and they're going to do so with the sleds. Speaking of the sleds, they, led by Kastelton, will charge forward, just trying to do a little bit of damage to some of these enemy units of Marauders with javelins, as the enemy decided that it wanted to send the javelins forth unprotected. Wulfric is moving in to try to help him out, and we are going to back off rather than fight him over here. The enemy is drawing close now, almost in range of the first of our Streltsy, who are going to start taking volleys at the enemy. There we go, very nice volley into that unit of Marauder horses who lose about half their HP. A second volley takes their second half of their HP, and down they go, and will probably rout on out of there. Our chariots slash sleds are moving towards our lines, and we're going to soon intersperse them throughout our formation, such that the sleds can provide their bolstering auras of various types. We have 10 armor and 5 physical resistance from the armor bolstering aura, and 5 attack, and I want to say, does it offer immunity to psychology? Where's a smaller sled? I can find one in here. Not the heavy war sleds. Blood razors, here we go. Holster attack gives, okay, no immunity to psychology, instead 5 melee attack and various kinds of melee damage. So even more melee prowess for the Streltsy, and they are certainly going to need it as the enemy approaches. Unfortunately for us, the enemy is smartly using the trees for cover, and isn't approaching quite in the middle where we would like them to. Oh, come on, that was completely whiffed on that particular attack from the hag. But oh well. War sled's gonna drive on by, the enemy's gonna drop a manticore down, and here comes an enemy mammoth. We're going to distract it for a little bit with the summoned units of things in the woods. Center is going to hold. We're going to distract a few of the enemy marauders for a few more seconds with our war sleds, and allow the Boydanov's brawlers blunderbusses to fire at them nearly point blank. These marauders, by the looks of it, will be out of there long before they can do too much damage in melee. There we go, another nice volley. Not to the effect of dwarven blunderbusses, perhaps, but by the looks of it, still pretty decent. Out here, Wulfric has arrived, and he is, in fact, bodying Kastaltin, or at least dishing out tons of damage to him. We have activated both the Potion of Healing and have used our Saliak's Lullaby, or Lullabies, I think, twice, to keep him in HP. Wulfric is a scary fighter, after all, but the question is, can he outlast Kastaltin? Because we do have a lot of healing on him. He has regeneration, healing potion, and those Saliak abilities. All the while, Wulfric has to contend with being focused down by at least one unit of Streltsy. Just the one so far, but that will probably be sufficient as Wulfric has started to lose HP and quickly drops to about 25%. The biggest portion of the enemies is blobbed up around our Patriarch and our Little Grom, the Roar of Ursun over on the left flank, and by the looks of it, our Little Groms are doing pretty good. This one is holding back the Great Maherd of Bloodfjord and has been for the entire time, preventing the enemy from reaching the Streltsy. And we've got the War Sleds who are helping out against the Maws of Savagery, Skinwolves, Trolls, and Manticores over on the right flank, where the mass and heavy armor of the War Sleds are needed to hold back enemy monsters so that they don't kill off the Ikshina ambushers. And we did need to stay back here so that our reinforcements could do the work. Mammoth still being focused down, but it looks like this Feral Mammoth is just about out. A couple more volleys, and it will drop, I'm sure. I do believe Wulfric is shattered at this point. Down goes his Mammoth, and Wulfric will run for Kastaltin to chase him down. Kastaltin back to nearly full HP. Once again, just too much healing for the enemy to deal with. And I'm sure he'll chase Wulfric down, but we've got more enemies to fight off. Not too many more, though. By the looks of it, the battle is definitely going in our favor, and our War Sleds can move once again. That was a pretty nice shot. Enemy center units are still moving in, and the Icehorn Marauders are not unbreakable. But by the looks of it, are going to be the last units in the fight, or at the very least the last of the enemy melee units. And hey, it's a little bit more melee work for our Streltsy. Not made to be melee units perhaps, but, well, hybrid units like a lot of the Kislev roster. And by the looks of it, are doing pretty well at it. Alrighty, and with that, it looks like the Icehorn Marauders will break. We'll get a few more of our faster units charging forward towards the enemy Shaman Sorcerer and the enemy unit of Javelins, which is one of the few units that did remain in the fight. In fact, by the looks of it, it was the only unit that remained in the fight, as with the Sorcerer and the Javelins breaking, the enemy army will break as well. Took a little bit of damage on some of the War Sleds, though keep in mind that they will recover because they're at 3 out of 4 on this one, for example. So they're pretty good. And surprisingly, I was expecting a lot more damage on our Streltsy, but they held pretty darn well here. I think that once we get the War Drum in here to buff up the blob of Streltsy, whether offering them additional armor or reload and melee attack, it'll really make the army. But I think it'll function well enough. And despite Streltsy being relatively fragile, I think it'll work. But anyway. Alrighty, there we go. We were hoping for a nice fight this episode, and I do think that one delivered. That was probably the worst position that Kastaltin's army will ever be in the sense that the terrain was absolutely horrible for his type of army because of the Streltsy being non-arcing, straight-line shooter units. The hills and the massive amount of forest around us made that a particularly difficult type of setup. And that said, still managed to pull it off, and the Streltsy fought well in melee and in range. That frenzy really working for him and to buff him up. Significant damage on pretty much all of the units, and unlike usually, we used the heavy war sleds to provide additional mass and then the aura stacking from them to bolster our Streltsy line further with the bolstered defense and bolstered attack offered by them. Plus, that was a pretty good showcase of the little Groms. Not their artillery prowess, but the fact that they could hold off mammoths for quite a while. And yeah, two of them did take about half damage, but one of them held off the great Maherd of Bloodfjord, which was never really able to close the distance with our melee because of it. And yeah, very impressive. Very impressive indeed. We are obviously going to take the money. It's a fairly significant amount of income, and we only have 5 more turns left to profit, so we gotta take all the money that we can for those turns so that we can kick off our economy in a way that we can live without the additional income. Though I suppose if we sail on over and grab the Shrine of Cain, we can get 15%, so almost as good. And we are not that far from Ulthuan, so there's that to consider. Anyway, bonus campaign movement range is a pretty solid buff for Kastalton, and another Kislevite Kossar. Don't care for the Scroll of Shielding, though. Won't be needing that, and we're good. Alright, Kastalton. I guess we're going to move you to Longship Graveyard. Looks like you won't be able to get to it this turn. Okay, wait. You, sir... Okay, wait. We gotta do this in a specific way. We'll put you in encamp stance and still travel this way through the enemy territory through Longship Graveyard. I mean, it's just a pile of gobos. They wouldn't win a fight in a Castle Alexandrinov. They could be going for Erengrad, I guess. Alright, fine. We're gonna put you temporarily in Erengrad just in case, just to offer a few extra units there. I don't think that's where these guys are going, but let's not risk the place. It's pretty important. Then we'll send Sorka Gospodar, who has the other stuff. What's the likelihood that these guys actually go for the Bay of Blades? I was gonna send Recruiter Talichev with these guys. I don't know whether... Wait. They could reach Bay of Blades from here. The tier 2. I guess we could keep Sorka... but I wanted to send her to join the rest of these forces to retrofit. No, we're still moving. We're still moving. Here you go this way. You know what? I'll risk it. If it doesn't pay off, it doesn't pay off. What we're going to do is keep these two together. And use Recruiter Talichev to take Longship Graveyard, which will allow Kastalton to move in march stance and then sail out wherever he needs to be. And we'll figure out what to do with the rest. I think, in fact, maybe we'll use Kastalton to grab the island and grab Pack Ice Bay, as Mother Ostanka can instead move up here to auto-resolve this guy here, and then take the Monolith of the Bloody Hand. Bloody-handed, whatever. No, Bloody Hand. But I'm sure Bloody Hand is bloody-handed. How to resolve it? Oh, look, why how to resolve? I mean, I knew that would happen, but just ugh. Take the money. All right. Fortunately, we are still in our own territory, so we'll heal up and can channel a little bit. But it does mean that we'll have to manually fight at the monolith, most likely. I would imagine. Really hoping that once we add the 2 Frostworms and however many of the Incarnate Elementals to this army, that won't happen anymore. Just really hopeful on that. Anyway, folks, with that, we are most definitely out of time. Wulfric is out, and we may not ever see him again. And depending, as the World Walkers are down to a mere 4 territories, should be able to knock out Norska next time. Also, speaking of next time, we can move in Medora Nasinov and Alexander Polesnitsa together. Also, things mean things. If things mean things in whichever language, I mean, it's probably a bunch of languages together because that's the way the Kislev is. Please do let me know. I am always curious about what the names of things mean. But anyway, as I said, a 2 units rating means they're at -21 for the Tower of Torment, which should mean that it will rebel. And hopefully, Boris will revive next turn. I guess we'll have to find out as soon as we end the turn next time. So stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the Threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And ooh, we do have a guaranteed nice battle next time, as well as the Terrorflies has a defensive structure and decent garrison, plus Epidemius with a full stack as well. Anyway, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.